What's happening YouTube? My name is Nick and welcome to TV Box Top, the channel for the best reviews in Android TV boxes and accessories. In today's video, I'm really pumped up and excited to finally review what might very well be the best Android TV box for 2026, and that is if no other model tops it, which I doubt very much. I present to you the first official Android box running on LPDDR5 RAM from Ugoos called the Ugoos AM9 Pro. This model has got all the bells and whistles, Dolby Vision, Android 14, and all of the extensive unique firmware features that only Ugoos provides. So without wasting any more time, I'll get right to it. And welcome back. So in the box, you get the latest AM9 Pro model. You get a Bluetooth voice remote with a mouse feature. You get one HDMI cable, a 12 volts 1.67 amps DC power supply and USB Type-C power cable, a pair of external antennas, and your user manual. For design, its body is made of metal with the Ugoos branding at the top. For I/O, you get one HDMI 2.1B port, one Gigabit Ethernet LAN port, one optical audio, one auxiliary port, one USB Type-C data transfer OTG port, a 12 volts USB Type-C power delivery port, 3 USB 3.0 ports, and a micro SD card reader. At the side, you have your external antennas connector pins. At the front, you have an infrared sensor and an LED power light and activity indicator. And below the box has 4 rubber feet, its recovery button, and a mask ROM button. So when you start up for the first time, you will be greeted with a Ugoos startup animation, followed by the pairing of the Bluetooth remote, whichever of the two models you chose during purchase. This is done by pressing the menu button and the volume up button at the same time until the LED starts flashing, and the box will pair to it automatically. Then you have the option to select between two preloaded launchers. Launcher 3, which is more designed to be navigated with a mouse cursor or an A mouse. And the other is U Launcher, which is Ugoos' custom launcher more designed to be navigated with a direction pad and OK button. For this review, I'll be using Launcher 3, so I'll set it to always to load each time I restart the box. So the Ugoos Launcher 3 is one of my all-time favorites, simply because it has all of the features to navigate with a mouse cursor, whether it's from a PC mouse or from a Bluetooth Air mouse remote. You get drag and drop shortcuts, and you can also remove and uninstall apps using the drag and drop feature. You get multiple horizontal scrolling panels, and it comes with a navigation bar and full status bar with system controls. And with the navigation bar, you have your recent apps feature where you can switch between two tile formats, horizontal and horizontal with perspective. So its firmware features include 4K display up to 2160p at 60Hz. And this is true 60Hz as detected by my capture card and not 59.94Hz as seen in other models. Under advanced display settings, you will find options to change its frame buffer size from 1080p to 4K 2160p. This option changes the resolution of the launcher and its entire interface. So if you need the launcher to display in true 4K resolution, this is the option to do it. It also allows apps such as YouTube to play in full 4K resolution without being cropped into a 1080p frame. You can change its color mode to suit your high-end TVs, up to 12-bit color depth. You have custom picture settings. Under Preferred Dynamic Range is where you'll find your advanced HDR display settings. You can set HDR always on, but now you have the option to choose which HDR display you want, whether it's HDR10 always on or HLG always on. Or you can disable HDR by setting it to always SDR. And for your auto HDR feature, you switch from forced conversion to match content dynamic range. If you select system preferred conversion, it will turn HDR10 always on. Under format selection, it shows that it has HDR10 and HLG hardware decoders built in. It does not support Dolby Vision or HDR10+. You get auto frame rate switching, HDMI CEC options. You have a button mapping feature to assign functions to the colored buttons on the remote. You can change the behavior of the menu button on the remote. You have screen rotation to portrait mode, reverse portrait, and reverse landscape. You can change the speed of your USB ports. You can adjust the size and speed of the on-screen mouse cursor. Under Panels and Interface, you can enable or disable the navigation bar or status bar. You can change the format of the recent apps window from horizontal to horizontal with perspective. You get a hardware monitor overlay feature to monitor all of the parameters of the box. And you can control the speed of the UI's animation. You can enable USB microphone access. You have power key definition options. You have a root switch by the way of the Magix application. For audio, you can enable or disable system songs. You can allow apps to regulate the volume and how many steps they can regulate. You can switch its audio output from HDMI to optical audio. You can switch between USB audio usage, whether it's for microphone or for outputting audio. And you have your surround sound audio options. And under enabled formats, it shows that it has Dolby and DTS hardware surround sound audio decoders built in. Under storage is where you'll find your Samba server, NFS client, and CIFS client options. As soon as I connected to the internet, I received the first of 2 firmware updates, which is one of the main selling points of Ugoos boxes, and that is regular firmware updates or updates when necessary based on feedback from their customers. So at this point, for those of you who have seen my AM9 video, may be wondering, what's the difference between that model and this updated Pro model? So let's take a look at its system and hardware information to see if we can identify any differences. The manufacturer of this chipset is Amlogic. It comes with 4GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 64GB of internal storage with Bluetooth 5.3. So the difference here is that the previous model has LPDDR4 RAM and this one has LPDDR5. Its CPU is the Amlogic S905X5-J, a quad-core Cortex-A510 processor clocked at 2.4 GHz configured in 64-bit mode. So the difference here is that it comes with Amlogic S905X5-J, which is an upgraded CPU compared to the S905X5 in the previous model. Its display and graphics are powered by the Mali G310 GPU with support for OpenGLES version 3.2. Its network adapter supports dual-band 2.4 plus 5G Wi-Fi networks. Its Android version is version 14, and currently it's not rooted, but you can gain root access via the Magix application, as I will show you in just a moment. Its GPU has Vulkan Support API version 1.3. It has an idle CPU operating temperature of around 41 degrees Celsius. And under codecs, it comes with video decoders such as H.264, HEVC, AV1, Dolby Vision, and VP9 decoding. And for surround audio, you get Dolby Atmos EAC3, but I don't see any DTS HD decoders. So the difference here is that in this model, you now get Dolby Vision decoding. So that's its system and hardware information. For digital rights management, in this model it comes with Google Widevine Level 3 with no HDCP protection. In the previous model, it had Level 1 with HDCP 2.3. And for root access, the Root Checker app shows that it's currently not rooted out of the box. You simply head over to the settings area and enable the magic switch and restart the box, and now you will have root access. It comes with the official version of Mirrorcast that allows you to mirror your Android cell phones in HD 1080p quality, and here's a demonstration of me casting an Android cell phone to the box. For watching YouTube videos, you get up to 4K 2160p resolution with HDR. I will now play some HDR10, HDR10 Plus, AV1, HLG, and Dolby Vision videos. For this demonstration, I'm using my custom-made TV Box Top media player designed to detect all video formats, and let's see which formats it can play. So this is HDR10. This is the AV1 format. This is a Dolby Vision video with PCM stereo. This is Dolby Vision with Dolby Atmos. This is HDR10 Plus, but the box does not feature that format, so it plays as HDR10 with Dolby Atmos. And this is HLG. Here's another HDR10 video. If you are following the development of my media player, here's a look at its settings area. For surround sound audio, it can play all surround sound audio formats. However, it cannot play all of them on one media player. With the exception of DTS-X that can only run on the Kodi media player, the others can play on my TV Box Top media player. This is not a fault of the media player, as all the other media players has the same issue. This is a hardware decoding issue. So this is Dolby Atmos.
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels to moving around.
You get Dolby Digital Plus.
Come on, you guys, let's go!
Or captures the full extent
Do you want to know my secret?
of nature's fury.
You get DTS HD Master Audio. You get Dolby Surround. You get Dolby True HD.
Now the right rear surround channel. Next, the left rear surround channel.
And via the Kodi Media Player, you get DTS-X. Just remember, in order for Kodi to play surround sound audio formats, you have to set the settings area to expert, set audio channels to 7.2, and enable audio pass-through and all its dependencies. For Android gaming, even with its 64-bit architecture, I would have preferred that they use the Mali G57 instead of this G310. To be quite honest, it performs like the Mali G31. So there is no real gaming improvement. Some 64-bit games even say that the chipset does not qualify. With that said, games that do run smoothly in good quality without overheating. So I tried to install Core Elec, but it appears that the GitHub page is offline at the moment. So let's take a look at some benchmarks and where it ranks on my TV Box rankings chart. First, the results of its RAM and internal storage read and write speeds. It has a RAM copy speed of 6,539 megabytes per second. Its internal storage has a read speed of 201 megabytes per second and a write speed of 75 megabytes per second. Next, the results of its dual Wi-Fi 6 and Gigabit Ethernet LAN speed tests. My tests reveal that its Wi-Fi bands have excellent reception and bandwidth. The 5 GHz band achieved the maximum speed of my network of 337 megabits per second. Its 2.4 GHz band also displayed excellent performance, maxing out at around 136 megabits per second, and its Ethernet LAN port is a Gigabit LAN port, so it too achieved the maximum speed of my network. In benchmarking, its Amlogic S905X5-M single-core and multi-core threading performance, the Geekbench 5 CPU benchmark produced a score of 266 single-core and 899 multi-core. In benchmarking its graphics rendering performance, this is the only area where I have a bit of concern. The Trinimark Gamers Benchmark Wilder Life Test produced a very high score with Vulkan support of 1266 with a very high FPS for an Android box of 7.58. However, This does not translate into high-performance 64-bit Android gaming from my observation. I stand to be corrected, but I'm getting similar if not the same performance as the Mali G31. And in the comprehensive Antutu benchmark version 11, it received a score of 346,478. So those are its benchmarks. Let's now see where it ranks on my chart. So I've updated the scores on my chart, and the new Ugoos AM9 Pro ranks at position number 5 at the time of recording this video. This is based on the latest version of the Antutu benchmark version 11. I give it a cautious 4 out of 5 star rating, keeping in mind my comments about its GPU performance, and like I said, I stand corrected, but they should have used the Mali G57 GPU in this model. For those who have been experiencing difficulty navigating my rankings chart on my blog, I apologize for not detecting that sooner. So the TV box rankings chart and my mini PC rankings chart both have been revamped, upgraded, and restored. So see the link in the description where you can view the top ranked TV boxes for 2026, and it's also where you can compare the AM9 Pro's performance and firmware features to other boxes. So see the link in the description. In summary, the Ugoos AM9 Pro delivers the latest in Android TV box technology, firmware features, updates, and hardware performance. This model is not going to please everyone, as there are those who prefer the Android TV version with Google and Netflix certification. You will not get that from this model, as it runs on the mobile version, has a 64-bit architecture, and has a root switch. So the model falls within the high-performance gaming category. The only issue I have with this model is that they should have used the Mali G57 for better graphics rendering performance. So that brings to an end my review of the latest Ugoos AM9 Pro. If you would like to get your hands on one of these amazing models, I placed a link in the description where you can get it at the best prices online from none other than Ugoos themselves via their Amazon store. If you would like a great deal on the model featured in this video, you can get it from me at a second-hand price of 30% off the Amazon price. Just simply send me an email at tvboxstop@gmail.com and I'll be happy to hook you up. Give this video the thumbs up if you enjoyed the presentation. If you are new to my channel, then be sure to click the subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to receive notifications each time I release new videos, offer second-hand prices, or decide to do a giveaway. So thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Stay connected and see you in the next one.